Kenya and the world at large has overly relied on forests and other natural resources for energy from time immemorial. This historical over-reliance has contributed significantly to the forest cover depletion as well as other related environmental challenges. Charcoal burning, wood cuttings as well as firewood acquisition from the forest supposed to be rain catchment areas have become a major setback. Kenya relies heavily on water to drive its turbines to generate power. Geothermal energy comes second, with fossil fuels supplemented by imported fossil fuels. But still, less than 20% of Kenya is powered. Combine that with ever-increasing demand for electricity, and it simply means most Kenyans will never see power in their homes in their lifetime.
Kama sisi tuko na ng'ombe watatu hivi, na wametuambia hiyo itatosha kutupikia kama 5 to 6 hours hivi.
This initiative is spearheaded by the Kenya National Federation of Agricultural Producers, KENFAP, an organization that lobbies and advocates for farmers' interests.
The use of biogas in Kenya is going to be a very important aspect of our future life, particularly in the rural areas. One of the major reasons is, first of all, the economy. As you all know, fuel is getting very expensive. Gas is expensive. Petroleum products are very expensive. That includes paraffin. So for merely economic purposes, biogas is going to be a very important, particularly for those people who are in the lower income level in the rural areas. The other important thing, of course, is that by use of biogas, we are protecting the environment. You know, there has been a lot of problems in Kenya because of the degradation of the environment when people cut trees. And it is not possible to tell people not to cut trees for firewood if they do not have an alternative. Now, what is this alternative? The alternative can be electricity. The alternative can be gas. But what is closest to the farmer? What is the closest to the people in the rural areas is biogas. Because biogas is available, it is clean, and it is renewable. It uses local materials. The technology for producing gas is a very simple technology. It does not require an expert. So I can say for sure that any farmer who has 2 or more cows needs to have a biogas plant at his or her home, because this does not only help himself or herself economically, but also helps the country and the world at large, because the less we destroy our forest, the less we denigrate our environment, the better it is for the future and the future generations.
This program is a partnership between DJIS, that's the Ministry of Netherlands, Foreign Affairs, HIVOS, which is a Dutch NGO, and SNV. So in the partnership, SNV provides technical assistance to the program. And in the role that we provide there for in Kenya, we bring in the experience that SNV has in other countries from Asia, because we are supporting other 14 programs.
Dr. John Mutungi asserts that the project may just be the much-needed breakthrough for Kenyans. That's because it combines cheap electricity supply while cutting down on environmental degradation.
I joined the Federation about 2001, close to 9 years ago, and we've been developing many programs and projects with respect to rural development and community development. We normally have a technical arm of the document to the consultant who was handling this particular process. And we came up with a document that was quite well implementable based on the standards that we had set in place. And it has shown results in the sense that we have been able to roll out at zero, right at the equator, we have the most of the impacts. The weather patterns have completely changed. Erratic weather events have increased. We have shorter rain seasons than before, longer droughts, very violent rain, and so on. So we need to consider every mechanism and apply every means that is possible to conserve our environment. And that is why KENFAP as an organization is spearheading this particular alternative source of energy use. I mean, for people to be able to stop deforestation in search of firewood, and stop also utilization of other sources of energy to be able to conserve the forest. Many farmers have been able to put up some woodlots and some forests, and whenever we clear the forest, we normally reduce the potential or the ability of that particular forest to do what is called sequestration, rather to take up the carbon dioxide from the environment. It is clear that through the process of photosynthesis, carbon dioxide is absorbed by the plants, and it is basically utilized for production of the food for the crops or for the trees. Any green matter makes its own food, and in that respect, we are able to balance out the amount of carbon dioxide within in the environment. But when the forests are cleared for firewood or for any other purpose, we do several damages to the environment. Number one, we reduce biodiversity. In other words, we reduce the species diversity or the species numbers within any unit. If you count the different types, you realize that in a specific phytochorion, you find that most of the species are reduced, and we do not have the required level of diversity. And this affects even the relatives or the other dependent organisms that may depend on certain species or certain varieties of trees and plants. On the other hand, we also make the forest now enable to do their work. There is the turning over of the dry matter into humus, that process, and in the absorption capacity of the carbon from the atmosphere. The more diverse, the more thick a forest is, the more vegetative matter it has, the better it is for that particular purpose. So to reduce the use and consumption of firewood, then we have emphasized and amplified the use of biogas as a source of energy, so that people can basically utilize this particular source of energy for purposes of cooking, for purposes of lighting, and therefore they leave the firewood or they leave the trees to grow that they may not be harvested as firewood. On the other hand, we are also improving our living conditions. If you look at the amount of smoke that is always accompanied by use of firewood for cooking, which is completely reduced or completely done away with when you use biogas as a source of energy, is a lot. And the cooking circumstances we are having cleaner kitchens, we are having better, more preferable food preparation mechanisms or food preparation methods. And this is much more preferable because the taste of the food also comes out better than when it is cooked with firewood and so on. On the other hand, we are also trying to prevent our environment, the labor aspect of it. When you look at the gender and who is actually involved in collection of firewood and even the cooking, in most cases you find that our ladies, whether young or old, will spend most of the time looking for firewood. Use of biogas completely does away with the time spent for firewood. The opportunity cost of that time is utilized for more productive work, and therefore we have cost development. Rather, in other words, we are using our time more effectively for better development options that people. We have technicians who are going around assisting farmers to, first of all, understand or perceive this particular technology, make a decision, and therefore link them up with the constructors who come by and do the costing, and then they do an evaluation of the farm and clearly cite these particular units where they are best suited in terms of the ingredient of the land, and also in view of the other activities that will be performed on the piece of land. Through this kind of arrangement, it is possible for a farmer to be enabled to benefit a lot from the biogas unit itself and from the program itself. As we speak at the moment, we are spread across the country. We have no discrimination whatsoever it depends on where you want to have your biogas unit. You can call KENFAP headquarters to get a unit constructed on your farm. You can also contact our offices, which are spread across the country. We have 50 offices in 15 different old districts. I'm talking about districts that are now counties, and we are store coordinators. The district coordinators are available. Their numbers are also available. You can always call KENFAP headquarters to get the contact of the nearest person with whom you can discuss to be able to get the biogas and unit constructed on your farm. On the other hand, we also call upon Kenyans to speak about this a lot more, because this is a mechanism that we can consider under an adaptation mechanism, whereby we are trying to adapt to climate change through use of biogas instead of using the firewood or the charcoal, which has an impact on our trees. On the other hand, we can say we are also mitigating against the impact of climate change, because we are reducing the likelihood that the climate change is going to affect us. So it has a dual purpose.
This program is designed to disseminate biogas technology large scale among the African population, with a target of installing 70,000 plus biogas plants across 6 African countries, Kenya being among them. In Kenya, we hope that we will be able to install at least 8,000 biogas plants by the end of 2013, and in the process develop and establish a sustainable local biogas sector where players across the value chain will feel that they are adequately recognized and rewarded for their efforts.
Biogas digesters depend on a variety of inputs to work. They include waste from slaughterhouses, waste in urban landfill sites, industrial waste such as biogas from sugar factories, water hyacinth plants, animal dung and human excreta.
We usually do select trainees from all over the country, assemble them in a training center, like for example now the Women's Center for Enterprise Development, a center sponsored by KENFAP, so that we give them a two-day theory training and a 10-day practical training, where a digester like this is installed.
The program is aimed at reaching small-scale users. All you need are 2 cattle and you'll get 4 cubic meter, enough to produce gas, which can be used for cooking for over 2 consecutive hours.
So in that pit we make an overflow exit where slurry can flow to the chamber. Biogas starts from the cowshed, it moves into the inlet, it comes into the digester, to the expansion chamber, and to the slurry pit, which gives us very good valuable fertilizer. There are some hindrances, and these hindrances has resulted from the cost of installation as a major one, and then the other one is awareness. So this program is built on the component of creating promotion and awareness about the technology, so that farmers get to know that biogas exists and they need it in their compounds. Farmers are also trained on how to manage and use the bioslurry coming from the digester.
Tumekuwa na shida kubwa sana ya kuwa hakuna kuni na hatuna mashamba, kwa vile mashamba yetu ni madogo na forest yetu imeisha.
Though even those with power, hydro generation is never reliable and has been severely impacted by recent drought.
I've been in this training for the last 2 weeks, and I've seen the benefits as it pertains to the biogas, because I've come to notice that we are now working with the nature conservancy. That is a part of fuels. You can see that we are now saving our trees, because the biogas directly is helping us on how about to cook, how about to light.
Applied several marketing strategies whereby we have realized finances it's a challenge to our potential clients who are the dairy farmers, and so